Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Conversations at Kerrie's Corner. This is podcast number 2. Today, we are going to talk about what it's like for me fighting for my small business in the worst inflation since the Great Depression. Yeah, it's a big one. I own 3 businesses, actually. I own an independent insurance agency. I'm a 43-year career agent. And the last 3 years have been the worst in my entire career on so many levels. My second business is a small DIY company where we help individuals save as much money as they can by doing things themselves, offering design consultation, offering videos, guidance. Because let's face it, with the worst inflation since the Great Depression, everybody needs help. Everybody needs to be doing things in their house, and they can't afford to hire a contractor. You know, you're talking about thousands and thousands of dollars, where if you try to do it yourself, you might be looking at hundreds of dollars versus thousands of dollars. So Kerrie's Korner is a DIY company that offers just that. We offer consultation and design services to help you design and lay out your plan, and then we give you step-by-step instructions and videos to help you get it done, to help you save as much money as possible. Then I own a mental wellness distributorship. I lost my mother 2 years ago, and it set my life into a tailspin. I was having health issues at the same time, and then she passed away, and it just sent me to a very difficult place. And luckily enough for me, I had a wonderful opportunity through some friends to find this remarkable mental wellness company that offers all sorts of different products to help you cope with so many things in life that we struggle with, but using plants. And I thought that was really exciting because as somebody who has a chronic disease, the disease that I have is called reflex sympathetic dystrophy, RSD. It's also known as CPRS. And it's a debilitating disease. I nearly lost my left foot because of it. And getting supplements that could help me that were plant-based, where I wasn't adding another chemical, was very attractive to me. And the reviews that I read and meeting the owners and the officers and the others involved in this distributorship program, frankly, it blew me away. I'd never seen anything like it. So I have a mental wellness distributorship as well, where these products truly have given me the tools to cope with the very stressful life that I live, that we all live. So I have 3 companies, and they all have struggled because of the out of control inflation. And I pray that we get to turn it around soon. So many small business owners are leaving their businesses, closing their businesses, some of them after years and years, because they just can't make it. They just cannot handle the overhead expenses and continue to run a business. So I made a drastic decision after COVID because I could see what was coming. And at the time, I had 2 locations for my insurance agency, one in North Texas and one in South Texas. And when COVID hit and my employee could not continue or go to remote working, I made a decision that it was time to close one of those locations, combine the agency, and make my agency a virtual agency. The cost of brick and mortar was about $40,000 a year. To have a brick and mortar shop, office, storefront, just to do business. And I made the decision to close the office locations and become a remote virtual agency. And I made that decision right as COVID was getting into full swing. And it was the best decision I've made, because just about everything in the insurance business today, just about everything in my DIY business, and just about everything in my mental wellness business, I can do virtually without a brick and mortar facility. So why would you spend 40 to 50, even more, thousand a year just to have a location that might get people in it? COVID really did shift how we as consumers buy. Shops, stores, malls, a majority of them are going out of business because people are just not shopping that way anymore. We're using the internet. We're using this massive tool to go out and get the products and services that we need, and people aren't coming into offices very much anymore. Even filing your taxes now, you don't even have to go to an office. Everything is done electronically. So the convenience part of it is just mind-blowing. I mean, who wants to go to an insurance agent's office anyway? I mean, come on, let's be real. I wouldn't, and I'm an insurance agent. The amount of people that I was getting towards that end of that last year was maybe 2, maybe 3 a year. Everything's done by phone. Everything's done by computer. Everything now is moving to being done by text. So my decision to eliminate that massive operating expense changed the trajectory of my business. If I still had to have a brick and mortar business, I probably wouldn't have the business. That's what's happened. That is what has happened in the last 4 years. This administration and the inflation as a result of this administration is making that transfer happen for so many different businesses, because we just simply cannot afford the overhead anymore. Our profit margins are being eaten up by the inflation that we are seeing. And as small business owners, we are just not getting the tools that we need to be really, really successful. That's all been taken away from us. And the small business owners are the backbone of this nation from an economic perspective. We still employ more than any other segment in the economy, yet we are the ones that are struggling the most. Big corporations, they get all of these great perks and these great tax breaks and all of these things, where the mom and pop operations like mine, what do we get? I'm still waiting. What do we get? Big fat nothing. And it's got to change, because some of these companies are generational companies. So this is second and third generation, and they are facing a very, very difficult choice to try to remain open and become profitable again, or close a legacy business, which is just wrong. When you have multi-generationals that have been working in one business and now they can't make ends meet because our inflation has gotten out of control and our economy is out of control, something has got to give. And I am very, very hopeful that when the election is concluded, that we have a new direction. If you follow me at all, you know that I'm a conservative, and I'm not going to get into in this podcast talking about that. But the decisions and the policies of this current administration is decimating the small business owner, because we just don't get the help. Now, in COVID, there was stimulus checks available, but if you're a business owner and, like me, you no longer have any employees, but you still have this massive loss of business that you're trying to recuperate, and some of us are still trying to recuperate, we've had no stimulus. We've had nothing. We're just forgotten, because we are self-employed and we are a one-person operation, and that one-person operation has gotten nothing as a business. So I think as small business owners, we have to man together and really start to form networks and alliances and groups so we can go to our local, state, and national governments and put more pressure on all of those systems to help the small business owner. Help in taxes, help in incentives, and other things that will help stimulate income into our businesses. Because without it, if this continues, if our inflation continues, there's going to be more and more small business owners that will have no choice but to close their doors. And that's incredibly sad. For me, I'm very lucky in that I really don't have overhead. I have a fantastic referral base. I had a big enough volume of business to where I am making it, but just making it, and trying to not lose what I currently have, which translates into 12, 14-hour days. Plus, trying to expand and grow my business through the massive changes in marketing that have transfixed our commerce since COVID. Marketing, the way we used to market, is nothing like the way we need to market today. And one of the ways that we have to market is doing what I am doing. We are on the internet, through social media, through podcasts, through networking sites where you can post information. If you are not on social media and you do not have a social media presence as a small business owner, you will not make it. Because this is where it's gone. The old days of, the little magazine flyers that went out to neighborhoods, or buying lists, or all the things that we used to do to generate leads, as we call it. And that's in any business. It doesn't matter if it's an agency, whether it is a medical product, or whether it is construction materials. How you grow your business has all changed. And if you are not continually, every day, making yourself available through social media as a small business owner, you are not going to survive. That's why so many companies now are using TikTok to grow their businesses. Now, TikTok is one of those things that there's really good parts of it, and then there's really bad parts of it. And I would hate to see that it completely went away, because the marketing capabilities through TikTok is astounding. Since I've been doing TikTok, the amount of input and inquiries into my businesses are 5 times what they were before. So I would definitely hate to see TikTok completely go away, but I do believe that there are some things that need to change. And I am very, very hopeful as a small business owner that something can change between now and the deadline, a company come in and buy it, because the amount of networking and marketing capabilities through that platform alone is massive. Massive. So as small business owners, we'll have to learn, we have to pivot, we have to learn how to change and make these changes on the fly, if you will. I was going from a full-time employee to no employee at all. So it's still got to all get done. Luckily for me now, I have somebody part-time that helps do some of the data entry and input, so I can devote my time to growing my business. Let me tell you a little bit about those businesses. KDS Insurance Services is my insurance agency. I'm an independent agent, so I have as many carriers as possible to offer my clients as many choices as possible. And I've been doing this for 43 years, a very long time. Inflation has decimated the insurance industry for clients. And what I mean by that is the premiums are out of control. Now, that's a real double-edged sword, because when premiums go up, my commissions go up, right? But if you're losing your clients because your premiums are too high, then it's a negative for you as the business owner as well. And in that industry, in the insurance industry, it has got to get under control, because as a consumer as well, consumers are getting to the point, because of our massive inflation, they're getting to the point where they're either going to take massive high deductibles or they're not going to have insurance. Now, in our state in Texas here, and if you owe money on your home, you have to have insurance. So it's not something you can just arbitrarily say, I'm not going to do it anymore, because there are legal ramifications if you do that. So the insurance industry has taken a massive hit. The clients in the insurance agency have taken a gargantuan hit. In Texas here, the average household has seen a 65% premium increase. That's insane. That is 6 times the national inflation average. So as you can see, when you translate that to a consumer point of view, people are drowning. It's just adding to another expense that has gone out of control because of this inflation. On the other flip side of that, yes, the premiums have increased, but because those premiums have increased, and because the carrier volume has decreased here in Texas, carriers are leaving the state every single day, the amount of clients and policies canceled has increased. So it's all fits into this funnel like this, and it all trickles down. And that means that because of the inflation and all the things associated with all of my industries, it all sits into this funnel and it trickles down. And then what happens? My businesses are starting to lose money because inflation is out of control. That's why I think it's so important as small business owners that we network. You get with your local networking and you set up really good referral programs, get with vendors, and really work on those referral leads for business. I mean, that is, besides the social media, that is the biggest form of company growth that you can have that's validated. The days of buying leads in any business is gone, because those leads are just not worth the paper that they are written on. And so referrals and social media and internet marketing is the way that all business owners are going to have to go if they want to continue in business and increase their volume as a business. Another really big part of the fighting for your business as a small business owner are employees. Finding employees, it's a challenge. It is a challenge, because finding somebody that's wanting to work for me has been impossible. I cannot find somebody that I would trust my insurance agency to, and I've been looking for 4 years. There is just, I'm just not finding it. The younger generations cannot function at a job without their phone. I know lots of companies have a no phone policy or a off policy, meaning you have to keep your phone off at your desk. The cell phone has destroyed the work environment. And I don't know what that solution is. You can have company policies and all of those things, but from my experience, they don't work. They just don't work. The younger generations are tied to their cell phone. Absolutely tied to their cell phone. I would say one generation after mine is the last generation that can actually function without a cell phone. The generations after that, no way. They got to have a cell phone, and it's never out of their sight, and they're on it, 20 hours a day. They just cannot function. So how can you hire somebody that is going to continually be distracted from their job? You can't. You're wasting money. And it can cause serious, serious ramifications, especially in my industries. So I just choose not to, which then translates to very long hours, stress, fatigue, time away from my family, time away from everything, because it's now 12 to 14 hours a day. But that's what happens when you are an entrepreneur. That's the trade-off. The benefit is that you have all of this wonderful time and freedom to do what you want, but it's a big trade-off. It is a very, very big trade-off. When you are an entrepreneur, you are on 24/7. There are no excuses. There are no, I'm so sorry. There's no excuses. When you own a business, you are on 24 hours a day. And if you're not willing to do that, then you should not be a business owner. That's the trade-off. You're going to have to take the really good part of it, the freedom and the I'm in charge. But the trade-off is, in order to get that, you are on 24 hours, 365 days a year. That's the responsibility level. That's what it takes to have a small business. And if you can't do that, then you shouldn't be a business owner. It's just that simple. So trying to find good employees, it is so challenging. Truthfully, the generation that needs the work the most are my parents' generation and the generation behind them, the people that are in their 70s and 80s, because they can't make ends meet. They can't. For the first time in the country's history, those two generations are struggling to live because the expenses again, the inflation again, is decimating how they live. And the only solution is to change our economic situation. There is no other solution. And if that doesn't happen, it's a real worry. It's a real fear, not only for small business owners, but for the two generations ahead of me who can't make ends meet, who are selling everything and moving in with their children because they can't make ends meet. And that is a disgrace and a blight on our nation. That should not happen to people who have worked their entire life and they can't make ends meet. So it's a struggle. Owning a small business is a struggle. It is a 24-hour a day job. You've got to have help in some way to manage the responsibility levels. Thank goodness now we have really great technology that will help us. That has been a godsend for me, and that is the positive that we are all benefiting from COVID. But the offset for that is it's also affecting our mental and physical health. Because we are on 24 hours a day and the phones are in our hands 24 hours a day, we are not giving our bodies time and our brains and our minds time to decompress. So I had a very smart doctor encourage me about 2 months ago to decide to turn my phone off, make it silent, 2 hours before I go to sleep. Don't take it. Don't pick it up. Don't look at anything. Don't look at social media. Don't look at your emails. Don't look at anything work related. Take 2 hours and just watch television or read a book or something besides using your phone. And you would sleep. She said, you'll sleep better. You will be rested. You will be ready for the next day. And she was so right. So here's a tip for my small business owners. And I know it's hard. Believe me, I know. It took me every bit of 10 days to finally realize that she was right. Take your phone and turn it off 2 hours before you go to sleep. Read a book, watch a movie, go for a walk, whatever it is. Just put it away. And I promise you, you will feel better the next day. It really, really does work. Now, obviously, you got to have it on if there's an emergency, but only if it's an emergency will I pick up the phone. My children know, don't call me after 8 o'clock because I'm not going to answer the phone. My family knows, don't call me after 8 o'clock because I'm not going to answer the phone unless it's emergency, because I have to, because I am on all the time. As small business owners, we are on all the time. We're putting out a fire here. We're addressing this situation here. You have to make this decision so you can continue to be emotionally, mentally, and physically ready for the next day. I hope you listen to that tip because it really has made a substantial difference in how I address every next morning. I am so much better equipped and rested the next morning to do what I need to do to get my day started. So that's a great tip, and I would encourage everybody to try that. So I don't have solutions for us as small business owners. My suggestion is that we all really do start to get in a really good network that is a local network, and then a state network, and then a national network, so we can really start taking our voices to the decision makers so they can understand how small business owners are struggling in such a horrible economy. And we all really need to pray. We need to pray that our economy turns around significantly, because I don't know. It's a very, very worrying time as a small business owner. I'm managing just, and I don't like that. I am a very driven person. When I do anything, I expect it to be more than just. It needs to be, oh, I'm on fire and things are great. That's my personality. That's how I want to see my businesses. And right now, the economy is just eating us alive. So as small business owners, we need to voice our frustration too. We really do, right now especially, as we head into this very important election decision. We need to realize we have to make a change, or else you and I may not be around in a year. That's scary. Really scary. I hope you've enjoyed this podcast today. Conversations at Kerrie's Korner is all about us coming to the middle, regardless of where our political stance is, or just our differing opinions, and have a conversation. Have a conversation about these challenging issues. Come to the middle, because when we come back to the middle, that's when true change can happen, and we can start to turn our country around and fix this horrible divide that is currently tearing us apart. As somebody who grew up in the 70s and 80s, to see what's happened to my country is very sad. Didn't used to be like this. Yes, we had differing opinions, but we could differ without violence and hatred and division. So we as a community, as a nation, we have to fix this, because the generations behind us may not have it if we don't. It falls to us to be the ones to encourage everybody to come back to the middle, have a conversation that is logical, respectful, with no hatred, no bias, and no belittling of the other person because they differ. It's okay to have differing opinions. That's what makes this world such an amazing place, is that we are all different. What we have lost is the ability to respect each other's decisions and positions and talk about them rationally. Because you know what? Think about that corner store or that corner diner. You'd go in, grab a cup of coffee and a slice of pie or a sandwich, and sit down at the bar and have a conversation with somebody you've never met before, or you may know the person. And you could come away after that conversation with a completely different point of view, because we could communicate, because we would listen to the other point of view. That's what we have lost. That is what we have lost. That mental picture is what I'm trying to help us get back to, by listening, communicating, and respecting differing opinions, because it is okay to differ. But we've lost the ability to respect each other. And there is far, far, far too much hate in differing opinions. That's what's destroying us, and we have got to stop. We have got to be a catalyst for changing that narrative, or else civil war could destroy this land. And I don't know that she'd survive it this time. Think about all of this as you go through your day as a small business owner. What can you do to be a catalyst for change? Not only in your business, but in your community. We're the leaders. We built this land. We built the commerce in this land. We have to be the leaders to facilitate change. And the way we do that is by conversations. So thank you for joining me today. Remember, we do 2 podcasts a week. Grab a coffee and grab a good chair and join me at Conversations at Kerrie's Korner, where we really can make a change by coming back to the middle and starting a conversation. God bless everybody. Have a wonderful week, and I will see you in my next podcast. God bless you, and God bless these United States. Take care.